Tonight, Budget Day in Manitoba.
Again, good jobs, lower costs, and better health care.
Cheaper groceries, improved wildfire prevention, and a new cardiac center. Everything you need to know about how the province is spending your tax dollars and where you'll see some savings. Also tonight, mind the gaps.
You're gonna destroy something in your vehicle if you're not careful.
How drivers and local tire shops are getting by as pothole season arrives in Winnipeg. Plus, finally being laid to rest.
In this particular situation, there was a badge from the 107th Overseas Battalion.
What we know about a Manitoba soldier from the First World War whose remains were just identified in France.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A tax is coming off your grocery bill on July 1st. The 2026 provincial budget eliminates the PST on all groceries, a move the province says will save Manitobans $32 million a year. Joining us now to help break down the big budget announcements today is CTV's Jeff Keel. So, Jeff, what type of food will this tax elimination impact?
Sandwiches, prenatal vitamins, and junk food. Some say this will make a difference. Others point out most groceries are already exempt from PST. The Canoe government's 2026 budget is promising to help Manitobans out at the grocery till.
Manitoba is leading the way when it comes to tackling rising grocery costs.
On affordability, the province will remove the PST from all grocery items on July 1st, saving shoppers $32 million a year. The school property tax rebate will go up by $100 to $1,700, but new this year, it will be reduced on homes worth more than $1 million and eliminated for all homes over $1.5 million. The renter's tax credit is going up by $50, and the province will spend $10 million to make transit free for K-12 students. The province says the PST cut on groceries will save people money on things like rotisserie chickens, sandwiches, and snack food.
These are the things they're buying when they go to the grocery store. Like I mentioned earlier, you're getting ready for a birthday party, you got to buy those cans of pop and the chips.
Anything that brings those grocery bills down is a net positive for those Manitoba families.
But the opposition believes it won't make a difference.
Largely, groceries are exempt from paying PST already. These are real measures to make life affordable.
The budget also has $22 million for a new cardiac center at St. B, more than $13 million for a mental health zone beside HSC's ER, 32 beds at Siloam Mission to take pressure off hospitals, free daycare for 3,500 low-income families, and a pledge to have fresher and healthier foods at personal care homes.
I think my physician colleagues across Manitoba are going to be really happy to see continued investments in healthcare.
Coming off the worst wildfire season in recent memory, there is $75 million for a new fire base near Thompson. Design work will begin this year for the Carberry overpass and twinning Highway 1 to the Ontario border. There is a $10 million fund to attract investment for the Churchill corridor and a promise of 12 new police officers. But there was a glaring budget omission: funding for Phase 3 of Winnipeg's most expensive project.
I was disappointed to not hear anything in the speech about the North End plant. That is a shovel-ready project.
Now, the budget also said the province plans to launch an inquiry into the former PC government's efforts to get an environmental license for that CO Silica project in 2023.
Jeff, what about the deficit? The province is swimming in red ink, so what is this latest budget prediction?
Well, the province says they're making huge strides and improvements on that number, predicting it will be $498 million for the upcoming year. That's a lot better than the current projection, $1.6 billion. So they're sticking to that plan merely to balance the books by the end of the first term, 27-28.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. There is plenty of reaction to the budget pouring in tonight from stakeholders all across the province. CTV's Daniel Helmerson is standing by to talk more about that. So, Daniel, what has been the overall response to today's budget announcements?
Well, those we spoke with say the NDP government's priorities are clear, but the business community says the budget doesn't do a lot to address challenges its members are facing when it comes to cost pressures, labor shortages, and trade uncertainty.
There's things like payroll taxes that still exist in Manitoba. They made an adjustment to it last year. This year would have been nice to see a further adjustment to that. We didn't see that in the budget. Any kind of other programs that are going to be able to help to recognize the challenges that businesses have right now with trying to reduce their reliance on the U.S., enter into new markets, more in regards to that would have been helpful as well.
Meantime, the head of the Social Planning Council of Winnipeg says the budget could have gone further to support low-income Manitobans. Kate Kaler says those folks would benefit more from a PST rebate check instead of tax relief at the checkout.
We saw that when they did the gas tax holiday through Campaign 2000 analysis. We actually demonstrated that had they continued to collect the gas tax but distributed that money to low-income families, 62% of families could have been raised above the poverty line.
We also spoke to municipal leaders from different pockets of the province. Here's what they had to say.
So for the residents of Brandon, more work going on at the hospital. Healthcare is always a big issue. And, I might have liked to have seen a tiny bit more with the University of the College, but there may be some in the weeds as I'll pull those out. So
we're already doing 400 knee and hip surgeries a year at our Selkirk Regional Health Center. So now to get a 50% more, another 200 knee and hip surgeries, that's going to clear up a lot of the backlog.
Well, actually, it's a good budget for us in the north. I mean, it goes to show the province's commitment in terms of steps to develop a province.
Churchill Mayor Mike Spence says the $10 million to attract the private sector to the north is especially encouraging.
Danny, I know you spoke to a lot of people today. What else sticks out when it comes to opinions about this budget?
Well, the response from union leaders was pretty mixed, Marilee. For example, MGU President Kyle Ross says this budget feels a lot like last year's. Ross says it's missing investments for people working in areas like corrections and wildfire services. He says the province needs to do more to recruit and retain workers. Meantime, CUPE's president says this budget hits some targets, but there's still plenty of room to grow.
All right, thanks for this, Daniel. A 38-year-old man is charged in connection to a road rage incident on a Manitoba highway. It happened Friday night in the RM of West St. Paul. RCMP say a 35-year-old man was driving on a highway near Grassmere Road when a man in another car pointed a handgun at him after a road rage incident. Officers later found the suspect vehicle at a nearby home. The alleged driver was arrested. Police obtained a search warrant and found a CO2-powered air pistol and 2 long guns. The suspect faces a number of firearm-related offenses. He was released with conditions and will appear in a Winnipeg courtroom in April. Spring has returned to Winnipeg, but it didn't come alone. It brought along potholes. They are all over the city, and in some cases, they're more than just an annoyance. CTV's John Hendricks is out on the roads tonight telling us more about the bumpy ride some motorists are having. John, just how bad are the potholes this year?
You know, Marilee, I spoke with some people who say this is actually just a typical year pothole-wise, a typically bad year, that is. Take a look at the pothole that is right beside me. It is huge, and there are many more just like it all across the city. You don't have to rocket to the moon to see craters. Just drive down many Winnipeg streets and you'll find plenty.
They're bad all over. It's just terrible.
Winnipeg's Active Courier has 8 vehicles in its fleet, zipping around the city, delivering parcels, documents, and other items. Owner Clark Palale says his drivers are constantly trying to avoid potholes, but sometimes they can't, and their vehicles get damaged.
Mainly to our axles, a lot of our wheel bearings, and just generally the drivetrain itself. Potholes are a major factor in regards to those things.
And it isn't just couriers experiencing pothole-related problems. The repair bay at Penner Auto Body is filling up with cars that got damaged by hitting potholes.
You know, sometimes we'll get the vehicle in thinking we're just going to be fixing a flat tire, and then we realize there's more suspension components that are damaged.
Potholes is really a symptom symptom of a deteriorating pavement.
Michael Cantor, the city's manager of street maintenance, says they've already filled 15,000 potholes this year already. And he says there's a big effort underway to patch even more right now. However, some streets, especially the ones nearing the end of their operational lifespan, aren't cooperating.
We have some locations that we visit daily just to keep going and to keep those roads safe.
In the meantime, Clark Palale says drivers should slow down and keep a watchful eye open for the craters on the road.
You're going to destroy something in your vehicle if you're not careful.
Now, at the moment, the city is using an asphalt cold mix to patch the potholes like this one. Now, in May, though, they will switch over to the hot asphalt, which will provide a more long-lasting and fulsome repair.
Yeah, John, we heard how the city is going to some streets daily to patch these holes. Is that all that can be done right now?
Well, for the really bad roads that keep having all those daily repairs necessary, a full-on road renewal will be required to truly stop those potholes from coming back anytime soon. However, Michael Cantor says that they do have a plan to go to several streets and do an asphalt overlay. And once that happens, next season, you likely will not see quite as many of those potholes popping up.
Well, then we can start complaining about all the road construction, I guess. Thanks, John. Let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch forecast. We are definitely in that freeze-thaw cycle, which is, making matters worse for those city crews trying to get on top of the potholes.
That's right, and it could get a little slick, too. You know it's springtime in Manitoba when snow is on the way. You didn't think just because it was spring that snow was done. You know better than that living in Manitoba. Well, there is snow that is going to stretch across southern Manitoba in the hours ahead. So much so that some regions are under a snowfall warning. Others are not. I'll show you which warnings are in which regions coming up tonight, how much those areas can expect and how much less other regions will see come through in the next few hours. But for now, let's take a look through the CTV Live Eyes, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. No snow falling just yet in Winnipeg. It's cloudy and -2 degrees, winds out of the north-northeast at 16 kilometers an hour. The wind chill feels like -7. The pressure is dropping and the humidity right now merrily is 86%.
Thanks, Colleen. A Winnipeg doctor who intervened during a horrific stabbing attack at Seven Oaks Hospital is set to receive one of the highest civilian honors. Dr. Kenneth Hallweg tackled a knife-wielding attacker who had just stabbed a nurse in October of 2021 before chasing him from the building where he was arrested. Dr. Hallweg then returned to the victim and provided first aid. On Thursday, Governor General Mary Simon will present him with a Medal of Bravery in recognition of his heroism on that day. Dr. Hallweg is one of 31 Canadians receiving decorations for bravery that day. He was previously awarded award for bravery by Doctors Manitoba. Thompson General Hospital is making some changes to improve security. Starting tomorrow, patients and the public will use a centralized entry point to access the hospital. A security checkpoint has been set up at the main entrance where a verbal screening will take place and items may be searched or can be placed in an amnesty locker. Those requiring emergency care will be expedited. The changes don't apply to staff or first responders. The hospital was gray-listed by the Manitoba Nurses Union over unsafe working conditions in November. A Winnipeg man is in hospital tonight following a morning fire. It broke out in a shed behind a home in the 700 block of Ross Avenue just after 1 a.m. That's in the city's Centennial neighborhood. When firefighters arrived on scene, smoke and flames could be seen coming from that shed. They were able to quickly get the fire under control. Paramedics assessed the man at the scene and transported him to hospital. He's said to be in unstable condition. The fire appears to have been accidental. A small business advocacy group is encouraging governments not to lose momentum when it comes to dismantling interprovincial trade barriers.
I will say we've seen unprecedented strides of commitments being made towards freer internal trade in the last year. However, we haven't really seen all that much action following up with it, which is unfortunate.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says it's optimistic about the number of new pieces of legislation being signed across the country, such as the Canadian Mutual Recognition Agreement to boost interprovincial trade. However, it says the issue is they're really being implemented too slowly, and in many cases contain carve-outs for things like alcohol, food, and labor, dampening their effectiveness.
We are trying to, push governments towards expanding all of the agreements and legislation to allow the mutual recognition of food, to allow for mutual recognition of alcohol as well. Something that we hear often from different businesses is that it's very difficult to hire or send labor to other provinces and territories.
Last year, 11 jurisdictions signed a memorandum of understanding to allow direct-to-consumer sales of alcoholic beverages. The deadline is May, but the CFIB says most provinces, aside from New Brunswick and Manitoba, have yet to make much progress to actually bring it into force. The remains of a First World War soldier who died in France have been identified as a man from Manitoba. The Department of Defense says the remains are those of Private Albert Henry Detmold, who was born in Hamburg, Germany in 1884 before immigrating to a homestead near Roblin at 18 years old. Detmold enlisted with the 107th Overseas Battalion here in Winnipeg in 1916. Several artifacts were found with him, including his pickaxe, gas mask, coins, pocket knife, and boots. The Department of Defense says Detmold's unit was responsible for burying communication cables, maintaining light railways, and clearing roads, often under heavy enemy fire. He was reportedly killed on the first day of the battle for Hill 70. That was back in August of 1917. He was just 33 years old. His remains were discovered in 2020.
There's about 1,300 Canadians that are missing from that specific battle. So without an artifact to tell us which unit that they're a part of, the list of candidates starts at 1,300, which is quite large.
The unit identifier found with the remains helped narrow that search down, and then a DNA analysis provided the final identification. Private Detmold will be buried in France alongside other members of his unit in July. A bowl of soup is helping feed Manitoba students. People in downtown Winnipeg got the chance to sample some soup today as the Child Nutrition Council of Manitoba launched its 14th annual Stone Soup fundraiser. Over the next week, more than 40 restaurants around the province are offering a signature soup for sale. $1 from each bowl will help support food programs in Manitoba schools.
Our event today is Stone Soup, which really is about the folktale Stone Soup, which we really see the value of community coming together. We can achieve more when we work together, and that's really what school food programs are all about.
The Child Nutrition Council currently partners with more than 400 schools, supporting 80,000 students across Manitoba every day. In addition to providing healthy meals, the council also helps students create healthy eating habits and improves food literacy. You can find a list of restaurants participating in the Stone Soup fundraiser on the Child Nutrition Council's website. Still to come tonight, new details into that devastating plane crash at LaGuardia Airport.
At 20 seconds, the tower cleared Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4.
Officials provide a breakdown of the moments leading up to the deadly crash, but some critical details are still missing. The latest when we return. Taking a look at the markets now, crude oil added $4.22. The loonie slipped to 72.65 cents U.S. Gold futures lost $5.30. The TSX was up 57 points. The Dow Jones fell 84 points, while the Nasdaq also lost some ground. According to a new report, agricultural land prices in Canada are rising, and we saw the highest increases here on the prairies. Farm Credit Canada says Canadian farmland values rose an average of 9.3% last year. Manitoba saw the highest hike at just over 12%, with Alberta and Saskatchewan also seeing some big bumps. The Crown Corporation says the Canadian farmland market remained resilient despite trade uncertainty and cost pressures. Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board began their first full day of examination into a deadly Air Canada Express crash that killed 2 Canadian pilots and injured dozens of others. Among the questions being asked is why the fire truck didn't have a transponder to trigger a warning system. CTV's Adrian Gabriel is at LaGuardia Airport in Queens with the latest.
With the twisted, tangled wreckage of Air Canada Express Flight 8646 still strewn across LaGuardia Airport's runway 4, new details today on the tragic chain of events. The U.S. Port Authority fire truck that collided with the Air Canada Express passenger plane didn't have a tracking device on board to alert LaGuardia Airport's surface detection equipment of its location.
You have to know where ground vehicles and aircraft are. So in this case, that vehicle did not have a transponder.
We're also learning crucial details from the final moments recorded inside the cockpit as the Air Canada flight made its final descent.
At 54 seconds, the flight crew acknowledged that the airplane was 500 feet above the ground and on a stable approach. At 25 seconds, Truck 1 requested to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 20 seconds, the tower cleared Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4. At 9 seconds, the tower instructed Truck 1 to stop.
Stop, Truck 1, stop, Truck 1, stop, Truck 1, stop.
At least 10 calls to stop went unanswered as air traffic control watched the scene unfold in real time. The impact claiming the life of pilot Antoine Foray, who grew up southwest of Montreal. Foray's brother Cedric sharing this childhood photo on Facebook while writing in part, "Have a good flight, my brother. Oh yes, we've heard the phrase often, but this time it will be the last. You left us again, too soon to say goodbye. I love you, my brother. You can leave with your head held high." At Seneca College campuses today, Canadian flags are at half-mast for co-pilot Mackenzie Gunther, who graduated with honors in aviation technology. There are also stories of survival. Flight attendant Solange Tremblay suffered multiple leg fractures after she was ejected from the aircraft while still strapped to her jump seat. Her family calling her survival miraculous. Aviation experts believe the pilots may have saved the lives of dozens of passengers.
The crew, in my opinion, heroically did what they could to slow the aircraft down and to lessen the impact.
This comes as confirmation that 3 Canadian Transportation Safety Board inspectors arrived at the crash scene this morning to work in lockstep with their U.S. counterparts.
They are entitled to tour the wreckage. They also have access to most of the recorded information that will be collected during the investigation.
As for the flight data recorder, analysis on that is expected to begin today, with a transcript of the cockpit voice recorder released tomorrow. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Queens, New York.
Now to the travel turmoil in the United States. TSA checkpoints, long lines, and a partial government shutdown dragging on for nearly a month has meant misery for the traveling public and pressure on lawmakers to get a deal. CTV's Joy Melvin has more from Washington.
Take a look at some major American airports. Massive lineups snaking outside terminals and security grindingly slow. TSA agents have gone a month without pay. Many aren't showing up, and hundreds have already quit thanks to a partial government shutdown.
Oh my God, this is insane. I mean, I've never experienced anything like this. It's crazy. It's insane. I mean, I've never seen an airport like this.
President Donald Trump sent ICE agents to some of the busiest airports. Without training on airport X-ray machines, all they can really do is control crowds.
Put these people back to work, man. Get them paid. Obviously, you know, people deserve to get paid. You know, I hate that they hold people hostage.
Democrats refuse to fund ICE and Homeland Security until changes are made to the president's hardline immigration operations after 2 Americans were killed in Minneapolis.
It's a simple solution, Donald Trump. Pay the TSA workers so you don't have to bring ICE agents in there.
But the president said he doesn't do deals with Democrats. And as frustration boils over, from missed flights to waits up to 4 hours or more, this checkpoint chaos and safety concerns about air traffic control staffing shortages is just another reason Canadians are taking a hard pass on visiting the U.S. Stats Canada reports return trips from the U.S. plunged 22% from the year before, driven by politics, tariffs, and a weak Canadian dollar.
Lawmakers are working on a compromise deal that would fund Homeland Security, except ICE, and end this travel chaos. But the president, he didn't seem too enthusiastic about it. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
Overseas to the war in Iran now. Blasts continued around the region despite U.S. President Donald Trump's claims of productive negotiations. Israeli officials are reporting damage in Tel Aviv from Iranian strikes. Olivia Rubin reports.
Today, new Iranian strikes blasting Tel Aviv. Israeli authorities say a missile intercepted, damaging buildings and cars. A chaotic scene here showing smoke and flames in the streets. Sirens blaring as people flee towards shelters. Israel vowing to continue its own campaign in Lebanon, saying they've blown up all bridges over the Litani River there. This video showing the blast. New strikes today in Tehran, too. This video shared by Iran's Red Crescent showing the aftermath, an entire building seemingly destroyed. The team trying to rescue someone trapped in the rubble. President Trump says the U.S. is engaged in productive talks with Iran to bring an end to the war.
The other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there? Look, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone.
But Iran saying no talks with the U.S. have taken place, saying any claims to the contrary are, quote, aimed at influencing financial and oil markets and distracting from the challenges facing the U.S. and Israel. Yet the president saying the two sides have already agreed on several points.
They've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
One key aspect, the Strait of Hormuz. The president calling for the critical waterway to be reopened as global prices skyrocket. Now adding to the conflicting messaging, a source saying part of the 82nd Airborne is set to deploy to the Middle East soon, standing in contrast to President Trump signaling that the war is ending soon. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
Donald Trump insists talks are underway with Iran to end the war, and that did help calm the oil markets today. Analysts say the price of gas could drop anywhere from 10 to 13 cents a liter tomorrow, and diesel could go down by as much as 20 cents a liter. The group, Canadians for Affordable Energy, says drivers should wait until tomorrow to fill up, and it adds prices will likely go up again on Thursday.
If we are to take at face value what he said, and markets are doing that, it means that this could be the beginning of prices tumbling back to levels that are a little bit more comfortable for most consumers.
In case you're wondering, British Columbia still has the most expensive gas in Canada at $1.93 a liter, while Alberta has the cheapest at just under $1.63. NASA announced plans to build a multi-billion-dollar base on the surface of the moon.
The moon base will not appear overnight. We will invest approximately $20 billion over the next 7 years and build it through dozens of missions, working together with commercial and international partners towards a deliberate and achievable plan.
The space agency says the base will support sustained operations on the lunar surface. It'll be constructed using some of the companies already built for a planned space station in the moon's orbit. But that project has now been canceled in favor of the base. The change is related to the Artemis mission, which will see astronauts return to the moon's surface for the first time in nearly 60 years. Canadian Jeremy Hansen will fly around the moon as part of that mission. Liftoff is still scheduled for April 1st.
You know, we're very much in it, and this team's very optimistic.
But with the clock ticking down, every game matters. How the Winnipeg Jets are looking heading into tonight's matchup against the Golden Knights. Stay with us.
And the sunny long-range forecast for Winnipeg gets going Thursday with increasing sunshine as we get into the afternoon. A little cool, though, but we'll take the sun. -8 degrees, but then from there, even sunnier and day by day warmer through the weekend anyway. -4 in the sunshine Friday. Saturday, sunny and 0 +4 under a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. 1 degree on Monday, again under sunshine or a mix of sun and cloud.
The number of girls playing football in Manitoba is growing. The Winnipeg Winnipeg Football Club's 2025 Community Impact Report notes the girls' high school flag football league is set to expand to 40 teams this spring. Last year, it had 29 teams with more than 420 athletes, 252 of which were brand new players. It also expanded from 2 divisions in 2024 to 3 in 2025. This year, all major Winnipeg high schools will field a team. The Winnipeg Football Club also hosted a free girls play football program this winter, which saw 150 participants register and provided flag football kits to every school in Manitoba. The Winnipeg Jets are 5 points out of a playoff spot with just 12 games to go, and they'll look to gain some ground tonight at home against the Vegas Golden Knights.
It's a lot of teams fighting for that one spot, it seems like, and we're very much in it, and this team's very optimistic, and we're building, and I think there's no reason why we shouldn't believe that it's in this group to just swing a couple of wins together and get us right back into that spot.
Winnipeg's coming off a 3-2 shootout win Sunday in the Big Apple to keep pace in the West, but the teams struggled big time against the Golden Knights. In fact, the Jets have only won against Vegas since 2023. Most recently, the 2 teams battled back in January, where the Knights picked up a 4-3 overtime win.
Yeah, we know this team, big, heavy team, good structure. They have some top-end skill. So, they're very balanced and a team that's, has won and been in long stretches of playoffs and things like that. So a team that doesn't, usually beat themselves, you have to go and take the game from them. And so it's a big test. And, we'll have to be our best tonight to beat these guys. They're a very good team.
The Jets got a bit of a boost to the lineup over the weekend with the return of Neil Pionk on the blue line. Meantime, Connor Hellebuck should get the start in this one. Puck drop from Canada Life Centre is 7 o'clock.
The Hockey Report, brought to you by Santa Lucia Pizza. Check out the game day special. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with your complete Skywatch forecast, and she's tracking some snow in this forecast.
Some springtime snow, right? Well, it's Manitoba after all. It really depends on where you are in southern Manitoba. Not all areas will see snow, and those that do won't see all that much, while others could see an awful lot. So here's a look at the satellite radar right now. Not very active, although a little bit of mixed precipitation picking up in the southwest corner. But Environment Canada has issued a yellow warning for snowfall for predominantly the Parkland region, Riding Mountain National Park, Swan River, Russell, over to Dauphin, right in the middle there, and over to Alonza. Now, Environment Canada is forecasting in a general sense about 15 centimeters of snowfall for these warned areas, but leaving room for the possibility of much more, as much as 20 centimeters or more, particularly in higher elevation, but also the forecasts for places like Dauphin and Swan River themselves could see total accumulations coming in around 20 centimeters of heavy falling snow, heavy at times anyway. But also Environment Canada noting that the exact track of the heaviest snow is still a little hard to pin down, but this is the area that generally is expected to see the most. So while not much is happening just yet, I'll show you where all that precipitation is right now. It's sort of straddling Alberta and Saskatchewan. That snow moving out of Edmonton. You can see to the southeast of Medicine Hat that transition from snow to rainfall where temperatures are a little warmer, but you can see it's really out in front, reaching Swift Current already, en route to Manitoba, where we already have a lesser low pressure system that continues to bring a little bit of snow to central parts of the province, just like they saw yesterday in those areas there, as you well know if you're up in those areas. Not a lot, but there's certainly more associated with what's to come, and you can see it really just sort of links up to the one ahead. So overnight is when the expectation is things will start to get going with this much more substantial low pressure system in terms of precipitation coming into Manitoba, into those warned areas. But you can see it's not just snow. There's the potential for freezing rain too overnight, even as far east as Winnipeg and surrounding regions. So do watch out for that. Here in Winnipeg in the southeast, we're really only looking at about 2 centimeters worth of snow. Northwestern Ontario, you'll see some of this come through too. Kenora may see 2 to 4 centimeters as we go throughout the day on Wednesday. You can see this will continue to come on down. down. And then as we get into the latter part of Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, that's when it starts to exit the region. Then we clear right out and we brighten right up for the next few days across the province. For tonight, down to -4 again with that chance of snow or freezing rain overnight. It's a chance, not a sure shot. And snow is likely tomorrow morning. During the commute, unclear. This will be intermittent snow. -4 in the morning, -1 is our high again with the expectation of a couple of centimeters of snow. Snow in Island Lake will end early this evening, down to -25 there. Thompson -29 overnight, -14 tomorrow under a mix of sun and cloud. Light snow across the northwest where Flin Flon, Norway House and the Paw ends this evening. Then we'll see more coming through for certainly for the Paw tomorrow. Flin Flon, a good chance of it. In the southwest tonight, again, that snow moves in overnight with the potential for freezing rain. Dauphin, by the way, up here is supposed to get a substantial amount. What I'm trying to say is Brandon, you may see 2 centimeters, so that cutoff is quite steep between Dauphin and Brandon. For Winnipeg in the southeast, snow overnight for areas to the north and to the east. We'll see that snow move in fairly early tomorrow morning for Winnipeg and the surrounding areas. And in northwestern Ontario, snow tonight or rain even in Fort Frances, and this should wrap up by early afternoon for you tomorrow. Our first weather photo takes us along the Red River and a look at the sunrise there. That photo is from Chris, and Tina sent this photo of the gorgeous sunrise near Carmen. Send us your photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
I want to take guys that are down and out and miserable and having a bad walk in life and just show them that, hey, there's still fun to be had out here.
Revving up instead of bottling up. A Made in Manitoba men's support group looks to expand across Canada. How it got started and where it's driving to next when we return. A group of ATV lovers in southeastern Manitoba is expanding to other provinces, and it's all for a good cause, including men's mental health. They say the riding experience is liberating and leads to open conversations. CTV's Harrison Shin spoke to the founder today.
Don't bottle it in, just ride it out. There's no judgment for small hiccups, but you don't have to go through it alone. This isn't an advice just for riding ATVs. It is what Cowboy Mud Racing from St. Pierre-Jolie does for men's mental health.
We want to take guys that are down and out and miserable and having a bad walk in life and just show them that, hey, there's still fun to be had out here, and that's where the ATVing comes into play.
The group was Ryan Ward's idea after he went mud bogging with his boss, Brian the Pops Brown. Ward says he had a lot of stress and anxiety at the time, but
when I went through that pit, it was like 14 seconds of freedom. And I remember coming out of that pit and I just felt free. I felt that like nothing around me mattered, and I had dealt with the stuff that was really like pent up and I was really stressed out with.
Ward says he survived abuse, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health issues with the help from Brown.
He's grown a lot since I first met him. He's changed a lot in all good ways.
The Cowboys have already expanded to Alberta and Ontario, with British Columbia in the works. But the message of honesty, openness, and integrity, what the Cowboys stands for, won't stop there.
We want to see a Cowboys office in every single city, in every single province across Canada.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Whitemouth, Manitoba.
Pharmaceutical companies Pfizer and Valneva say they've made an experimental vaccine for Lyme disease, which is broadly effective, they say, despite the clinical trial failing to achieve its main goal. The companies say the new vaccine was more than 70% effective in preventing Lyme disease in people ages 5 and older during a phase 3 trial. However, because there were fewer cases of the tick-borne illness during the study period, the trial did not reach its primary endpoint.
You know, when you get a vaccine, your body produces what are known as antibodies, and if you're exposed to the bacteria or the virus, your body will mount an immune response to it when it gets into your body. What's neat about this vaccine is, yes, you're given a shot and you produce antibodies to it, but it's not necessarily taking effect in your body. When a tick bites you and sucks up your blood, those antibodies bind to the Lyme in the tick to prevent it from being transmitted to you. So you're actually transferring the blocking technique of the antibodies in the tick itself. So it's a rather smart way to prevent transmission.
People bitten by an infected tick often get a rash and suffer flu-like symptoms, including muscle and joint ache, headache, nausea, and vomiting. In some cases, the disease can even lead to neurological problems. Experts warn transmission rates could rise as climate change leads to longer, warmer, and drier summers, which is an ideal environment for ticks. Produce like spinach, grapes, and strawberries carry high levels of potentially harmful pesticide residues. This is according to this year's Dirty Dozen report from health advocacy organization Environmental Working Group. EWG has published the annual report since 2004. Nectarines, peaches, cherries, apples, blackberries, pears, potatoes, and blueberries also made the list. Spinach, though, took the top spot, as EWG says it holds more pesticide residue by weight than any other type of produce. For the first time, the report found more than 60% of all Dirty Dozen samples contained pesticides, which are also forever chemicals, also known as PFAs.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Koster Denture Clinic. Spotlight sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting The Incline, Sweet Dreams of Patsy Cline.
A pop singer-songwriter will join a Canadian pop rock artist as co-headliners of this year's Super Spike. Fifi Dobson and Tyler Shaw will headline the Saturday evening concert. Dobson is best known for her hits Stuttering, Ghost, and Take Me Away. Shaw has numerous Juno Award nominations, top 10 charting singles, and movie and TV credits to his name. Super Spike will also welcome Manitoba acts, including Always Dale, Zach Riley, and the Dust Rhinos throughout the weekend. Weekend passes for the charitable tournament are on sale through superspike.ca. Well, to some, they're gross. To others, they're perhaps a topic of endless fascination. But no matter where you stand, you're bound to learn something new when the Fungi Film Festival arrives in Winnipeg this weekend. Billed as the only film festival of its kind, it features several short films all about, you guessed it, fungi, lichen, and mushrooms. You can expect to see documentaries, animated shorts, and experimental films from countries including Venezuela, Canada, Norway, and Italy. The Park Theatre is hosting a screening of the Fungi Film Festival this Sunday. Just head over to myparktheatre.com for details and tickets. Celine Dion is reportedly set to take the stage in Paris this fall for her first full show in more than 5 years. The five-time Grammy winner last headlined a concert in 2020. In 2022, Dion revealed she had been diagnosed with stiff person syndrome. The rare disorder causes muscle stiffness and impaired mobility. Your Tuesday primetime lineup comes with the best investigator, Will Trent. That starts at 7. Following up then is Morgan Guillory in High Potential at 8. Catch R.J. Decker. My goodness, at 9. I'll get this one right. Best Medicine. That wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
We hit a high of 2 degrees. The record for this day, 1945, 17.8 degrees. Tonight, there's a chance of snow or freezing rain overnight. We'll see intermittent snow on Wednesday, couple centimeters, and then sunshine returns Thursday right through the weekend.
Thanks, Colleen. A senior on Vancouver Island has filled her 80 years with extraordinary adventures, and now she's turning one of her bucket list items into a children's book. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains.
For as long as she can recall, Sharon Stevens Smith has been compelled to make lists.
Write everything down that you want to do in your life. Doesn't matter how ridiculous it is.
From childhood through to her early 20s, Sharon's list of life goals was relatively consistent.
Ride a motorcycle, go to Africa, work with the primates, and one day I'm going to write a children's book.
While she worked as a nurse for a few years before becoming a realtor for almost 40, Sharon always returned to her list like when she bought a motorcycle, sight unseen.
Didn't even have a license. Never even sat on a motorcycle.
Yet 3 weeks later, Sharon had taken lessons, earned her license, and rode from Vancouver Island to a major bike rally in South Dakota.
So it was very unusual to see a woman in those days, and the trucks and everything would go by me, and they'd give me the thumbs up, like, there's a crazy woman on a bike.
Sharon crossed Africa off her list 3 times after returning to university as a mature student, partaking in archaeological digs, and inspiring a marriage proposal.
The chief wanted to buy me for 3 camels and 4 goats. I said, first of all, is that a good price or not before I commit?
As for studying primates, Sharon traveled to Borneo to do research with the world's leading ape expert and befriended a rescue orangutan named Herbie.
Oh, he was a real character. We had lots of fun.
Now, 20 years after crossing offshore sailing with calico cats off her list, the expedition has inspired the now 80-year-old to cross off, write a children's book, too.
You better get cracking here. You haven't got that many more years left. That's how I look at things.
But Sharon is also sharing Runty and Trudy's grand sailing adventure with the public, with the hope that publishing the true story will inspire readers of all ages to embrace the unfamiliar and live a courageous life.
We have one life. Let's make the best we can.
And no matter what's on your list, Sharon says, just commit to do it.
The great thing is once you check the list off and you think, okay, next.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, View Royal.
I still can't believe she's 80. Clearly all that adventure is doing her good.
It sure is.
All right, have a great night.